What is up, nerds, geeks, and collectors alike? Today we are taking a look at the Transformers The Last Night Premiere Edition Deluxe Class Autobot Drift. And Drift here is a newly added character from Age of Extinction, where Michael Bay tried to keep the Autobot roster to 5 characters only in order to distribute the screen time of each Transformer fairly. But we all know Michael Bay, that didn't happen. Or at least in Age of Extinction, where Drift got a little less screen time than 3 minutes. But going to the figure, here we have the packaging of Transformers The Last Night right here. Here at the side we have an artwork of Drift. He is a master swordsman. At the back here we have our obligatory CGI product shots. He is from the second wave because of the figures he comes with, which is Steel Bane and Squeaks, which appeared in the second wave. At the side here we have Transformers, as well as a continuation of the image at the front. At the top here we have an image of Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Drift. And at the bottom here we have the legal mumbo jumbo, as well as the UPC. And that's about it for the packaging.
Fear, no hate, no anger, no fear, no hate, no anger.
Get off, you maggot! I will kill you, flying rats!
He's very little, very tiny.
Losing our edge sitting around here. So tired of hiding.
And here we have Transformers The Last Night Premiere Edition Deluxe Class Drift outside his packaging, looking very cool. One of the most unique Transformer designs I've seen in the Bay films. And let's get him out of the stand and let's straighten out his feet right here. Let's fix this piece before we dive in deeper into the sculpting, detailing, and painting of the figure. And there we have Drift. Now let's take a look at the painting and sculpting of the figure. And here, let's just balance him out first, and here we go. Taking a look at the head sculpt, his head is painted with this gold paint, which looks like V for Vendetta and Anonymous right here. But still, you get the essence. He is a samurai. The nice did painting and sculpting of this figure, and you see the details from the samurai armor right there. As you can see here, that goes the same for the other side right here. Very symmetrical. And at the back we just have the kibble for his alt mode. And setting that aside, let's take a close look at his weapon right here. Drift comes with a pair of these swords, these long swords, as you can see, sculpted and detailed very good.
I got the land! His fat head don't get any better than that.
Really nice. It's not a downside sometimes for accessories to not have paint, meaning you can play with it without worrying about paint chipping. And here we have a smaller blade. As you can see, these are not just copy paste accessories, they are sculpted and detailed very differently, as you can see there right here. Beautiful, very cool, if I do say so myself. And in order to put his smaller blades, there's a peg right there, just taps in right there, fits all snug, tight and snug. And that goes the same for the arms. You can hold it very tightly, no problem at all, right there. And there you have Drift with all 4 of his blades.
The bitch actually came through with our ship.
Excellent. We are going to England.
Things are likely to... Let's go make some noise. Let's give them hell.
I'm driving.
And for articulation, Drift's head is on a ball joint. He can look side to side and he can do an entire 360, but make sure he has enough clearance. He can look up that far and look down that far. His arm can extend out but he does also have this other hinge that's more for the transformation, but that actually adds more to the posability of the figure and articulation. His arms can go out that far. He can do an entire 360, just make sure that he has enough clearance from the kibble. Upper elbow swivel as well as a 90-degree bend, and he has some wrist articulation, and this time it's not for the transformation, that's actually added in. Unfortunately, he does not have any torso articulation or even a waist swivel, but he can kick that far up and move his feet that far back, and that's about it. And he can fairly do the splits right here, yeah, and there goes this smaller blade, and he can actually has a more than just a 90-degree bend, but he also does have a upper thigh swivel. And as you can see, he has some back and forth, but that's more for the transformation. And since it's strategically placed there, I am going to count it as articulation, but he does not have a pivot. So that's about it for the articulation of the Transformers The Last Night Premiere Edition Deluxe Class Autobot Drift, and it's not as bad as I thought it would be. For some size comparison, let's get out the trusted ruler, and Drift stands a little below 5 inches, but if you count the helmet, he actually reaches 5 inches. And here we have Transformers The Last Night Premiere Edition Deluxe Class Bumblebee, and might as well add Transformers The Last Night Premiere Edition Deluxe Class Crosshairs, and let's position these Autobots. And that's about it for the size comparisons of these Deluxe Class figures. Now let's get Autobot Drift transformed. here we have Drift in his Mercedes-AMG GTR Alt mode. And I gotta say, from his Bugatti Alt mode, I prefer the Mercedes-Benz more, since it kinda gives off a more elegant look to Drift, considering that he is a samurai after all. Since personally, I didn't think a Bugatti fit Drift. That's just my personal opinion, but it doesn't say that the car was horrible. It's actually a pretty good vehicle itself. It's just, it's not Drift for me. This one is more Drift for me. And as you can see here, all 4 of his wheels move with no trouble at all, especially on a flat surface. And for size comparison, Drift stands about 1.5 inches, and he is a little over 2 inches wide right here. And for the overall length of the vehicle, Drift, once again, he is about 5 inches long, and that seems to be the standard size for deluxe class figures, both in robot mode and in alt mode. And here we have Transformers The Last Night Premier Edition Deluxe Class Bumblebee, as well as Transformers The Last Night Premier Edition Deluxe Class Crosshairs. And here you have a comparison of all 3 Autobots. And that's about it. So what can I say about the figure? I think the figure is very good in terms of design, and it is sculpted and painted very nicely. It is a retool of Drift from Age of Extinction, and it was altered to look into his The Last Night look, as well as for the Mercedes-AMG GTR. And this figure is a pretty good figure form representation of both the robot mode and vehicle mode, though I think that it could use a little more black paint, because that was the overall color of Drift with some added red. And I think that's what they did with the Studio Series 1, which looked more accurate. But as a figure itself, right here, it is a pretty good figure to have. So if you like this video, drop a like and subscribe for more content. It really helps me out. Till next time, see ya!